Hi everyone, so I'm finally filming Liam's 2-month update. I know that I'm 5 days late. It's been hard. I've been teaching, I've been doing as many daily vlogs as I can and editing them and everything. It's been kind of manic. Anyway, so you can probably see a lot of his progress in the vlogs that I've done lately. So if I miss anything out, just go check those out. You can also check out my blog. It's currently at blog.justlovesjazz.com, but that domain name is about to change, I think, quite soon. So I'll let you know when that happens. But for now, you can check it out there. And I'll put the new link in the description when it changes. So yeah, Liam's been going really well. He's a lot heavier now. His head is a lot bigger. I woke up the other day and yeah, he just felt a lot heavier to me. Definitely more chunky now. His stomach is really quite chubby. He seems a lot more confident in himself and with us as parents now. He's able to lift his head for a reasonable amount of time now without much support, and and he doesn't need as much support anymore, so we don't have to hold his head every time we lift him up. He's also getting more strength in his legs and arms, mostly in his legs. He can stand for a few seconds at a time now, and then continue to stand and then fall and stand and then fall with support, of course, for about 5 times in a row, so that's pretty good. He's a very good social smiler now, so if you use a high-pitched voice or a sing-song, or if I touch his nose now, he associates that with happiness and love, I assume, so he smiles with that now. Even sometimes he starts crying now when he needs a nappy change, which he never used to do. Just in the last week he started to howl if he's pooed himself, or if he's wet, or if his nappy is over full, kind of thing, so he's a lot more aware of that sort of thing now as well. He really loves rocking. The only way I could get him to settle down for this video is to put him in this swing. That's good. He's not at all interested in toys. At all. Like, you wave a toy in front of him, nothing. Hold it up to him, nothing. You rub it against his hand, nothing. He just is not interested at all in toys yet, but that's fine. He is able to grab, so if I put my finger in his hand, he'll grab it. Or, you know, if he's really hungry and he wants to grab the boob, he'll try and grab at the boob. And he's getting really good now at finding the breast himself. So if he's in the general area, there's a 50-50 chance he's going to find the nipple. Even with my clothes on, he will still attempt that. And if he's with other people and he's hungry now, he'll try and search their chest. He's eating a lot now. I'm still unable to keep up with his needs, although I've been trying my absolute hardest. So every weekend now, I try to solely breastfeed. And it has increased my supply. I'm able to express about 100 ml now, which is pretty good. I feel like his hair is still about the same as it was when he was born. I feel like his hair hasn't really grown that much. He's still got a pretty big bald patch at the back of his head, and he's still got that little red mark, although it's faded now, on the back of his head. I'm not sure still if that's a birthmark or not, but I'm assuming that it's just because he's always laying on his back of his head. The bump on the back of his head, which is, I assume, from when he came out the vagina, is completely fading now. It's almost gone. I think it'll be gone in the next 2 weeks. He has been making a lot more sounds lately. Like, he's been saying mum, mum, ma when he's crying in hysterical cry. And I think he's been saying ng, like ning, nang kind of thing. And I swear one time I did hear him say like a b sound, like b or ba or something like that. And lots of just general cooing. We realised the other day that we thought he was upset and we were giving him the bottle, but we think that he was just trying to communicate and he wasn't actually upset or crying. He was just making general grunt sounds, but then he was smiling. So we were trying to figure out if he was unhappy or if he was just wanting to communicate with us. He's starting to enjoy bath time and touch a lot more now than he used to. I think he's just getting more used to it, so he'll smile in the bath now. And my husband's been bathing him a lot more often. Liam's getting more comfortable with us and with strangers as well. We've let our guard down a lot with making people sanitize their hands, obviously, because he is 2 months old now, so we feel like it's not that necessary, unless of course they're like really dirty or something. So he's probably drinking about 200 ml to 250 ml per feed. And I feel like he's definitely still cluster feeding. His sleep patterns tend to vary a lot now. So he'll either sleep for like 1 hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 5 hours if we're lucky. So we're no longer getting that really nice lengthy sleep. I'm getting up an average of 3 times a night to feed him and settle him and that sort of thing. He hasn't been pooing very frequently, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, but when he does it's like quite a full nappy. He is weeing very, very frequently though, so I'm not too worried about that. He loves car rides. If you put him in the car, even if he's screaming, he will immediately settle down once the car's running. So that's a good thing. Although we haven't been going on trips just to settle him down or anything. We haven't got that desperate yet. It's been hard with me. I've been very, very tired. So a few times, like probably once a week, I'll have a moment where I'll just not be able to function and I'll have to just take a nap. And my husband will have to take over. And then when I wake up, I'm all engorged and my milk isn't as much as it was. That's been hard. And sometimes teaching as well. Like my teaching's really ramping up, so it's hard to keep up with the demand of breastfeeding and everything, and trying to keep the house clean as well. It's been a bit manic. His eye colour is definitely more blue now. It's like a light grey, light blue kind of colour, which is sort of like my husband's colour now actually. So it's interesting. Mine are sort of grey blue and his are really light blue. So I think he's definitely going to have blue eyes. He's been having a lot of wind recently. When my neighbour was babysitting him, she said that he would just fall asleep after a part of a feed and not finish the feed, which he's been doing a lot. And then he'll wake up about half an hour later and just really need a burp. So I've been just trying to make sure that he gets a burp in. And he's been better at it, but sometimes he just doesn't, and then he'll wake up really grumpy and then you can't settle him for like 2 hours. He's definitely a lot of the time crying just because. So, you know, he gets really bored really easily. He's awake a lot more often now. The baby centre website says that he should be awake for like 10 hours a day, which he probably is now, I would say. He's been sleeping in the cot about 4 times. So because he's quite long and he doesn't seem to settle that well in the bassinet anymore, we've been trying to put him in the cot sometimes for his major sleep at night. And it's been going well most of the time. But like sometimes, such as last night, he will just be so irritable that I will just sort of put him in his bouncer next to my bed and not quite co-sleep, but the next thing to it, you know. And he seemed to really enjoy that. So he's getting that balance of being independent and being with us. So that's a good thing. I've been reading a lot of kid wrangling and I've been reading in books at least every second day. Sometimes he's interested, sometimes he's not. It just depends. But he absolutely loves his pacifier. He's had about 6 around the house now. And we bought these dummy chains as well, so that he can attach them to his clothes. It hasn't been that bad so far. We've even left them on at night a few times and they've been totally fine. He hasn't, you know, it hasn't been a danger or anything like that, so that's good. I wasn't sure at first, but my neighbour said that she put them on her sons when they were his age and even earlier, and yeah, they're fine, so I don't see any issue with that. Plus they're not long enough to completely strangle him and suffocate around his neck. Like they're just not long enough to be able to do that. So that's a good thing. He's vomiting a lot. Probably every second feed he will do this massive upchuck. He threw up all over the couch, all over me. Sometimes I have to change my outfit about 3 times a day. It's quite funny. So he's just thrown the dummy out now. Usually when this happens he will cry for it and then you put it in and then he drops it and then he cries for it. So it's a bit of an annoying game at the moment. But I think he's content enough because of the swing and he hasn't realised yet that it's stopped going. The other thing he's doing is when he's falling asleep, sometimes he thinks that he's still sucking on the dummy. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, my camera is complaining that it hasn't got enough memory card, so I'm going to end the vlog there and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!